Out in the wide fields of Iowa, a junkyard holds a collection of cars that time forgot. For Kevin Brown, this is more than just a place filled with old metal. It's where he first learned to fix, to build, and to never give up. Growing up surrounded by tractors and broken machines, he developed a knack for seeing potential beneath the rust. Years later, Kevin began filming those moments, the slow, stubborn work of restoration, and sharing them with the world. Today, his channel has become a place where viewers could watch the fight between corrosion and craftsmanship. As a kid, he spent hours in the dirt watching his father and grandfather work, soaking in lessons about mechanics and hard work that didn't come from books, but from experience. That hands-on education shaped him in ways school never could. After high school, Kevin left Iowa for the Army. He spent 6 years in uniform, including a deployment, working as an aviation mechanic on CH-47 Chinook helicopters. The Army sharpened his skills, but more importantly, it taught him how to think under pressure. When every bolt mattered and there wasn't a clear answer, you learned to figure things out. When his service ended, Kevin came back home and kept working as a mechanic. At the same time, he enrolled at Iowa State University to study technology management and applied engineering. By the time he graduated in 2021, he had 15 years of mechanical experience behind him. He was earning the typical wage for a skilled mechanic in Iowa, somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000 a year. It was enough to get by, but money was never the main motivator. For Kevin, the real reward was in working with machines. In January 2017, Kevin decided to point a camera at what he'd been doing his whole life. He uploaded his first YouTube video, Welcome to Junkyard Digs. It wasn't slick or polished like a television car show. It was just him in the dirt, bringing an old machine back to life. The concept was simple: find abandoned vehicles, try to get them running again, and bring viewers along for the ride. People noticed. They weren't just watching a guy fix cars, they were watching someone battle time, corrosion, and mechanical stubbornness with nothing but his own hands and persistence. The mistakes stayed in the videos, the scraped knuckles, the parts that didn't fit, the muttered frustration when a bolt wouldn't move. That raw honesty struck a chord. Not long after, another key figure joined the story. Micah, who viewers would come to know as Junkyard Mook, could work a wrench just as well as Kevin. She quickly became a regular part of the videos, not just standing by, but crawling under hoods, covered in grease, while also filming, editing, and keeping projects on track. In 2019, she launched her own channel, also called Junkyard Mook, giving viewers her perspective on their shared work. By 2025, Micah had built a loyal following of her own, over 43,000 Instagram followers who were just as interested in her personality and approach as they were in the cars. In October 2022, Kevin and Micah announced their engagement. Kevin proposed with a beautiful car-themed ring, and Micah happily said yes. But by late 2022, Micah started to fade from the spotlight. Fans began to wonder, where had she gone? And what was happening with her relationship with Kevin, who often appeared by her side? The mystery finally ended on October 7, 2024. An Instagram post from the 1868 farmhouse wedding and event venue revealed that Kevin and Micah had tied the knot. The wedding perfectly reflected Micah's unique style. She wore a one-of-a-kind dress, and guests received party favors made from pumpkins and gourds she had grown herself. Meanwhile, Junkyard Digs kept growing. By 2025, the channel had over 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube and 107,000 followers on Instagram. Some videos exploded in popularity. A revival series on a Ford F-250 that hadn't run in 26 years racked up over 4.3 million views. Other standout projects included bringing back a 35-foot limousine, a $500 camper, and an assortment of unusual finds. The crew expanded too. Angus became a frequent face, known for both his mechanical skills and his humor, that kept long days from dragging. Luke joined for certain builds, adding to the team's dynamic. However, he left the crew a year ago to do his own thing. The atmosphere hasn't been that of a strict business. It was more like a group of friends in a garage celebrating every small victory. Whether it was a massive restoration or just an engine firing for the first time in decades, the joy was the same. With that growth came stability. By 2025, YouTube ad revenue alone brought in between $8,650 and $11,851 a month, roughly $103,805 to $142,213 a year before counting sponsorship deals from companies like Raycon, HelloFresh, and Good Chop. Merchandise sales added another stream of income: hoodies, shirts, and stickers, like the popular "I Love Drum Brakes" design that fans stuck on toolboxes and car windows. It was a far cry from the days when Kevin worked long hours for a mechanic's paycheck. Estimates in 2025 put the channel's net worth between $385,000 and $662,600. But Kevin didn't flaunt it. The money was just fuel for the next project, not the finish line. Recognition followed the success. Car events started inviting the crew: the QA1, Open House, the Street Machine Nationals. The Gambler 500 Le Mans even made an appearance at one show, a car they had revived for the event. Collaborations with other YouTubers like Vice Grip Garage and Pole Barn Garage helped boost the channel's reach, though not every partnership lasted. Sometimes schedules clashed. Sometimes visions didn't match. That was the nature of the work. By 2025, the projects are still rolling out. February brings a video titled, "Will an Abandoned Jeep Run and Drive Home After 20 Years?" April follows with "Will a Cheap Bucket Truck Still Run, Drive, and Work After 10 Years?" The format stays true. Examine a vehicle, figure out what it needs, and try to breathe life back into it. The process is rarely clean. It begins with a slow walk around, scanning for rot, rust, and missing pieces. Then come the tools: wrenches, sockets, pry bars, and the smell of penetrating oil fills the air as frozen bolts resist every turn. Some days, the sun goes down before a single wheel moves. Other times, luck smiles early and an engine coughs to life within hours. Most of the time, it's somewhere in between. Days are spent tracing fuel lines, swapping batteries, and cleaning carburetors before finally hearing the first sputter. The work takes its toll. There are scraped knuckles, cold mornings when metal bites at bare skin, and summer days when tools get so hot you can barely touch them. Some nights stretch late into the dark, headlights from a truck casting long shadows in the shop. But when that first puff of exhaust smoke appears after years of silence, it feels like winning the lottery. Micah's channel often gives viewers a different angle: the long days, the small frustrations, the teamwork behind the camera. She's not there to simply record. She's in the thick of it, tightening bolts, pulling parts, and sometimes stepping in with a fix when Kevin's hunch needs a second opinion. Events and road trips are breaking up the shop routine. Sometimes the crew hauls a freshly revived project to a car show. Other times they take on the challenge of driving an old machine across the state just to prove it still has miles left in it. They even use their skills to help others, like the time they worked with a disabled veteran on a car project. Through it all, Kevin is staying rooted in Ames, the junkyard smell, the wide Iowa fields, and the close-knit group of friends who can be called in for a project are part of his foundation. Even if the work takes him far, home is always the same, a place where old machines wait patiently for another chance. By 2025, Junkyard Digs is still, at its heart, the same thing it has been since 2017. The numbers are bigger, the audience wider, but the mission hasn't changed. One man, his wife, and a crew of friends determined to make old cars run again. The rust still fights back. Bolts still snap. Engines still refuse to turn over sometimes. Every time one finally comes back to life, it's worth the effort.